let us try to put this into perspective to try and understand exactly what this figures 5.5% down by 0.5% actually means. And to help us do that, I'm now joined in studio by Dominic Omondi, who is a business reporter with the Standard newspaper. Many thanks for joining us this afternoon. So when we say the economy has dipped by 0.5%, let's try to make it understandable to the normal mwananchi. Is this so grave? Should we, just let's understand that a bit.
Thank you, Sharon. Perhaps we have to start with putting some things in perspective. The World Bank hasn't, the organization that is supposed to do to determine the growth of the country is the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, and they will be releasing the figures about in a week or two. What the World Bank has done, and it does that periodically, is to do a forecast. So they look at how the economy is doing and say, as per our view, we think the economy is going to grow by this much. So last year they did a forecast, and they said the economy was going to grow by 6%. But after some time, of course, things have come up. Drought is one of them. Credit uptake, people are not taking up credit. So you can imagine if people are not taking up credit, then they are not spending and the economy is not growing. We enjoyed for a very long time the global prices of oil were low.
Yes.
So of course we got it at a cheaper price. Of course you have to appreciate the fact that we are a net importer of oil.
Right.
So so what happens is that then the World Bank took this into consideration and they revised down their forecast from 6 to 5.5%. Of course, it's debatable whether 0.5 is a huge margin
still,
or not.
Any kind of dip in the growth of economy
it is. You can imagine our GDP is almost 6 trillion. So 0.5% of that. Of course, that's a lot of money.
All right, and let's just bring it to a conversation that I know Kenyans have been engaging a lot with regard to borrowing from outside, which we can also attribute to what the government just said recently, that we have been borrowing so that we do investments in the country. So is it that we are not looking to see, yields from these investments that we are making in the near future, or how can we talk about our investments with regard to our economic growth?
Investments with regard to the debts that we've taken. Interestingly, because when the president and the vice president had the one-on-one, the press conference that they had recently, he insisted that much of the borrowing has been done to actually do projects that are development-oriented, which is good. But you also realize that the rate at which you've been taking up debt has been very, very, very fast. To some people, it's been unsustainable. Also, we are not very sure whether all the debt that we've taken, we've used it in the right way. I can't be the judge, but of course the jury is still out there as to whether the Eurobond was used in the right way or not. But generally, we've seen a lot of mega infrastructural projects coming up as a result, of course, we can say as a result of the debt that we've taken. We've seen the SGR, we've seen roads, being paved. We've seen, of course, some development, though they've not really started in the ports and all that. So you can say, yes, we put some of that money where they're supposed to be put. We've invested that money.
Okay.
But that's long term, of course.
All right. And then, of course, the report cites some of the reason for why they're predicting a dip in the economic growth, from drought to, the net import of oils, as you put it, to, the rise in food and energy prices. Does it also give them recommendations? Are these areas which have caused this dip in economic growth, areas where perhaps policy would have changed this?
Well, yes. A few weeks ago, Treasury, of course, released the budget, and they tried to come up with a number of measures to at least mitigate on the drought. Of course, most of this, the inflation that we are seeing, the general rise in the prices of goods and services is as a result of drought. So Treasury tried to put up some measures so that they can mitigate on the effect of the drought, at least to bring down the prices of most basic commodities like maize, tomatoes and fruits. I mean, tomatoes, cabbages,
Right.
sukuma wiki and all that. Important of those measures was to zero rate taxes. I mean, remove all taxes that goes into the production of maize meal, your unga, yeah? So that at least the price of unga, which most of us, of course, we use it most of the time. Most households use unga to make their ugali,
All right.
so that it can come down.
Okay.
That would have then brought down the cost of living significantly. Of course, you have to take into consideration all the other areas, of course, of food. So the government also put some amount of money into a drought kitty, a
Right.
contingency kitty for drought,
All
so
right.
that it can deal with the drought issues. Yes.
Okay, okay. Many thanks, Dominic Omondi, for joining us this afternoon and just helping us put into perspective that report that was released by the World Bank today, just giving a forecast of Kenya's economic growth, saying that is set to dip by 0.5%. So we shall be keeping